Good morning, family. This is Aunt Beth. Welcome to my lamppost. I had an aha moment this morning, and I wanted to share it with you. It's about seal number 1 in the book of Revelation. And I think I know what it is. You know, we read the book of Revelation and the seals, and there doesn't seem to be a lot of issues or calamities with seal number 1. But maybe that's not so true. So hear me out. In all of the seals, there's sort of devastation that you see, except for the first one. Let me read it to you. And when I saw the Lamb open one of the seals, and I heard one of the 4 living creatures say with a voice like thunder, "Come and see." Now this is Revelation chapter 6. I read verse 1, here's verse 2. And I looked, and behold, a white horse. He who sat on it had a bow, and a crown was given to him. Excuse me. And he went out conquering and to conquer. That doesn't sound so awful. But maybe it is. You know, how is that judgment? And I've been turning this over and over in my mind. But I think the first seal is a release of truth, and people are believing a lie. You hear about the little white lies? You know, lies can be so incredibly destructive. They don't start out that way, but they end up people believing the lie, and they do all kinds of crazy things, and they become so incredibly destructive. So then I went back to Matthew chapter 24, and when he's talking about the first signs of his coming and the end of days, and if you take the point that, okay, the first seal is deception, he actually lists the first 5 seals right in a row. Okay? So he says, the first thing he says is, take heed that no one deceive you. For many will come in my name, saying, I am the Christ, and deceive many. Okay, and I'm starting to think that's seal number 1. Deception on the earth. The word says that we can deceive ourselves. Okay? Which, that's an ugly thought. And I think in part 2 of this, we'll talk about how you can protect yourself from deception. You know, I think we want to be truth detectors, not lie detectors, because the lie is always changing. But if we know truth, we'll know the lie. But Jesus says, take heed that no one deceive you, for many will come in my name, saying, I'm the Christ, and will deceive many. And then here's the second seal. And you'll hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you're not troubled, for these things must come to pass. The end isn't yet. Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. Okay. So when you also dive into those words, it means ethnic. Okay, so there is not only nation against nation, but ethnic, racial issues. And then there will be famines, pestilences, and earthquakes in various places. These are the beginning of sorrows. But the famines, or pestilences, and earthquakes is seal number 3. 3 or 4. Okay, and then 4 is, seal 4 is death. And then seal 5 is martyrdom. And they will deliver you up to tribulation and kill you, and you will be hated by all nations for my name's sake. So that's seal number 5. So it's so, you almost skip over it. But I am coming to believe that the white horse is the release of truth, but also, are people going to believe truth, or are they going to believe a lie? And essentially bringing judgment on themselves. So we'll talk next week, I think, as far as how do we get so grounded in the truth that we are resistant to being deceived. Because it's possible for us to deceive ourselves. But that was my aha moment. So I must go. Have a fabulous day. All God's best.